What up, Kane fans? Welcome back to the show. This, of course, is Cafecito and Canes. While I take a drink, please hit that like button. People ask me, how do you do caffeine so late at night? I don't know. You grow up Cuban. It's a little different. Those of you watching, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, got a big one Saturday. NC State. We're about to go on this treacherous 4-game stretch. In my opinion, the toughest 4-game stretch of the season. I didn't think that going into the year, but of course, Clemson is having their issues, and they're not nearly the team I thought they were going to be. So this is it. These 4 games, the month of November, where typically in the past things tend to unravel for Canes teams that got off to a decent start. Other seasons it'd be October that we trip up and lose 3 or 4 in a row. We got through October, kind of okay. We were 2-2. We're 6-2 right now. You told me 6-2 heading into the final 4-game stretch. I'll be like, man, I will take that in a heartbeat. So 6-2, and you got a tough NC State team that you're facing on the road. Now, by no means they're world beaters of any kind, a team that we should be scared of in the least. But they're a bit similar to us, really. They got a tough defense, fast, physical, athletic, all that good stuff. But they're sporadic offensively. Now, I really believe we have a better offense than they do. We have one of the better O-lines in the country. We got a solid running back room. It's the quarterback position and the play calling that's really been faltering as of late. And before I get into the game itself, the matchups, and where I think we match up well, where I think we don't, keys to the game, I want to get this part out of the way. So Tyler Van Dyke. Now, this is not going to be the Bash Tyler episode. Let's just look at this as objectively as possible. So Tyler Van Dyke, he's our starter, for better or worse. You got a quarterback who's now in his 4th year with the program, 3rd year with the program. Got a ton of experience. He really lit it up in 2021, had a poor 2022, injury-riddled 2022, bad offensive coordinator. Now, this season has been up and down. And I'm going to preface this by saying I am fully aware that Tyler Van Dyke is not even close to 100% physically. Not even close. I feel like, what we're being told, with the finger and the knee and the rib issue after he got hit in the North Carolina game. I'm assuming it was from that. I'm no doctor, but that was a pretty hard hit he took. He's banged up. He's in pain. And like most injuries, he's playing through it. It might even be undersold how much pain he's in. But like or not, he's going out there and he's trying to lead our team to victory. So I will start by saying that his toughness should not be questioned. It should not be questioned at all. But I gotta say, the lack of the poor decision making, trying to force it into Restrepo when maybe at times he shouldn't, throwing into double coverage, things like that, not checking down, that I can't really attribute too much to an injury. Now, could being in pain and being in a certain amount of discomfort make you think a little more? It could. It definitely could. But theoretically, one should not affect the other. And, he's a D1 college athlete, so, we'll hold him to that standard. He should be making better decisions out there, even though he's not playing at 100%. What are your options right now, though? Emory Williams. Okay, true freshman who got the start against Clemson, got the win. He's 1-0 as a starter against a very good Clemson defense. But let's be honest, the young man's not quite ready yet. All right, Dominic Harris, you are correct. I was going to get to that, actually. What makes it worse is a lot of those are coming from clean pockets. Yeah, unfortunately, you are correct. Well, that's kind of the bad and good news about it. That kind of people look at that as a negative. I look at that gives me hope, honestly, because it's just a mental thing he's got to fix. Because if he gets clean pockets every time, that's one, his great, much improved O-line is giving him protection. And number two, teams aren't really blitzing as hard. They're just kind of hanging back and being like, all right, we're going to just play zone and, try to throw in between those zones. And if your confidence is not super high and the offense isn't clicking, it's not gelling, specifically the passing offense, that could lead to trouble. So, yeah, Dominic, you are correct. Forcing crap into tight pockets, absolutely. I put part of that on Coach Dawson, though, part of it. I mean, ultimately, coaches, players play. Players got to execute the plays. Big Nasty Kane says, check downs, please. Yeah. And when he does check down, I don't know if you notice, he's like patting the ball and sitting there for like 20 seconds, and finally he checks it down. It's got to be, like you said, Big Nasty, more in rhythm. So, yeah, those are just my thoughts on Tyler. Look, like it or not, he is our quarterback right now. He gives you the best chance to win, even at 60%, 70%, whatever he is. He gives you the best chance to win. He has the experience, and I think if he just makes those mental adjustments that he's even said himself, look, I know I got to hit that. I know the checkdowns were there sometimes. I got to hit that. He's come out and said it himself, which that plus the fact that he always has clean pockets, that gives me hope. Okay. So going into this game, again, like I said, two eerily similar teams, great defenses, sporadic at best offenses, although I think we have more talent. I think we have the talent edge there. Where I think we can exploit a matchup is our D-line or our front seven against their offensive line. NC State's offensive line is mediocre to below average, I would call them. Let's say mediocre at best. They're not a very good O-line. They got a young quarterback who, a lot like our guy, Emory Williams, he's got a bright future. They think a lot of him. He's probably not quite ready. So I think Coach Guidry, in this game that, again, I know we need the win. This is as much of a must-win as I think we've had all season because, man, those three games afterwards, FSU, NC State, FSU and Louisville, we're not going to be favored in either one, and rightfully so. I don't think we're beating FSU and Louisville. We could pull off the victory there because I think we're the more physical team, but we'll see what happens. And then Boston College, I thought they were a terrible team going into the season, and they looked that way at first. They're also 5-3, if I'm not mistaken. And it's going to be a cold game. So that one's not going to be easy either. And it's on the road. So in my opinion, you got to win this one. So to at least say, hey, we guaranteed winning season. All right, we locked that in. We got that 7th victory. Whew, okay, now we can go into these last 3 games. So anyway, back to my point. I went off on a tangent. So I think we can exploit that matchup, our D-line against their O-line. Our O-line against their D-line might be a little bit more of a push, especially because they're going to be expecting us to run. More is going to come down on Tyler Van Dyke. Can he win us the game? Can he engineer enough drives that we can get into the end zone a couple of times, create some distance, and our defense can just go to work? Or at least engineer a couple of touchdowns and maybe a few more drives that we at least get in Borregales' range. Knock a few field goals through. Get that point total into the 20s, maybe 30. If we score 30 points, I'm feeling pretty good. But not feeling super confident of that. But I am confident of this one thing. I think Dawson, he has shown that he makes adjustments in game. I want to see if he can make the adjustment to maybe start off the game a little bit different because it feels like he starts every game the same way. I would love to see him throw a little bit of more wrinkles in there at first. Maybe like a little bit what we saw early in the Clemson game, and then he kind of got away from it. The little jet sweep or reverse to Tyler Harrell, for example. Brashard out of the backfield. I would love to see more things like that. maybe some play action. That would be nice. I don't know about you guys, but I don't notice us using any play action for whatever reason. It's there. They're keying in on our run. They're stacking the box. So a little play action help. You maybe even throw a flea flicker at him, which we've done this year. You throw a flea flicker at him, that's 6. So I just hope they try some things. It doesn't take them a whole half to start making adjustments. I hope he doesn't get too bubble screen happy, because those bubble screens could get picked. One of them could get picked off and walk the other way for a touchdown. It came close to happening a couple times against Virginia. We can't get too bubble screen happy like that, because they're going to be sitting on those rats. They know what they're dealing with here. They're dealing with, health-wise, a bit of a compromised quarterback. So the last couple of games, we just start, hand off, bubble screen, hand off. I don't want to see that. Throw a few more wrinkles in there. So it's going to take a little bit of Shannon Dawson, but it's also going to take Tyler Van Dyke making some better decisions. Maybe not trying to push that ball down the field that he thinks he can make the throw, but it's underthrown and then it's picked off. That could be the hand issue playing a factor. Who knows? So, you got to work around it, but I think there is a workaround. And I think Tyler Van Dyke is a good enough leader and has enough experience to kind of gut out a victory. Also, our athletes on the outside against their corners, I give us a slight edge. Although they do have, again, they have a great defense. I give our playmakers a slight edge. On our side, our NC State does have a couple of youngsters on offense. That Concepcion kid, he's really good. I don't want him having a 150, 160-yard game like Malik Washington just did against us. You got to corral him and keep him from getting loose. Line up Bouchard at the Wildcat. That's something I would like to see. He did it he did it in high school. Surely we can throw in that wrinkle. I would love to get the ball in his hands more. Let's see. What's up, John? Go Canes. Our offense better get in gear. We got to play better. Tough games with NC State, FSU, Louisville, and BC. We know our defense is going to play. We need our offense. Yep. Absolutely. Hate to say it, but Arroyo is a wash this year. We're hoping to get what happens to tight end U. Well, a couple things are happening there. I don't consider Arroyo a wash. He busted his butt to come back, and unfortunately, he got nicked up again in that last game. I don't know how serious it is. I don't know if he's going to play this week. Maybe I missed something in the news. Maybe they came out and said what was wrong or how serious it is. Hopefully it's not too serious, and maybe we see Arroyo again later this year. But it's more, this offense doesn't use tight ends, and it's a little frustrating. But anyway, I'll get to my keys to the game now. Key to the game number 1, big glaring capital letters: do not turn the ball over. That's it. If you don't turn the ball over, you probably win this game just on that alone. I'm telling you, the self-inflicted wounds, the fumbles, the bad interceptions, that has been what has led to the other 2 losses. If you can limit that to 1 or 0, preferably 0, like just play a clean game offensively, do not turn it over, our chances of winning skyrocket, because I am confident our defense will get 1 or 2 takeaways. Although NC State did beat Clemson, probably a little bit more. I think it was a 1-score game, a little bit more convincingly than we did. We had to go to overtime. But remember, NC State had a touchdown on defense. NC State had a couple of big plays in that game that ended up being the difference. So it's not like they just dominated them up and down the field. I love our physicality at running back: Fletcher, Chaney, AJ Allen. Yeah, hopefully we see some Don Chaney this week, because we know how physical he is. And Mark Fletcher, now we finally see him back in the fold. Having physical backs like that in a game like this, where we might have to play a little bit of murder ball, that's going to be important. So first key to the game: don't turn the ball over. You take care of the football, we should be able to take care of business on Saturday and win this game. Number 2, I already touched on this. just a little more creativity on offense. A little more. Nothing crazy. Just, a little more. Just get those guards pulling. Get, maybe some drag routes over the middle. I haven't seen that. Everything's been lateral. Maybe a trick play or two. I'd love to see it. Getting your speedsters the ball in their hands. Just, again, more wrinkles, more creativity in offense. That would be key to the game number 2. And key to the game number 3 is don't let the NC State offense, basically play disciplined defense. If it has to be bend but don't break like we did against Virginia, so be it. Bend but don't break. But as long as you don't break, don't lose outside containment, don't lose gap integrity, don't let their quarterback get loose, basically, and don't let their youngsters on the outside get loose. Keep your, stay focused. Don't lose that, and I think you hit those 3 keys. I think everything will be fine. This is a 5-3 NC State team. Typically, a team that we go on the road to and lose. I mean, we've been in the ACC. I believe this is our 19th season in the ACC, and I feel like ever since we started, even like back in the late Brock Berlin days when we were still a solid top 15 football team that produced NFL talent. Even back then, we struggled with these ACC road games that we should be dominating. We eke out a victory, or we lose, like that first Carolina game in 2004. I still remember that, and I remember later that season we beat Virginia. Got to number 10 at one point, and we were number 17, and it was like their biggest home game ever. We went up and beat them. Roscoe Parrish, he caught that bomb for a touchdown on 4th down. But that game, we ended up getting the win against a top 10 team. Yeah, but we should have dominated Virginia. We should have dominated that game. Anyway, that started a trend of just playing down to our competition year after year after year. Not that NC State's not great competition, but let's be honest. Look at how the 2 schools recruit. I take our roster over theirs any day. This has got to be one game where we go in there and we punch them in the mouth early. If we even jump out to a 7-0 lead, quick start, 7-0 lead, I think the whole team will relax a little bit. Even just one great drive. John, I remember when, same season, 2004. Remember when Devin Hester went wild at NC State? Memories, yeah. That was earlier in the season when we didn't get hit with the injury bug. I don't think we had lost Eric Winston yet. And yeah, we went in there and we beat them. I think we won like 45-30 or something like that. We beat them up pretty good in that game. And NC State had like the number 1 defense in America or something at the time. I remember that game. But yeah, we got to start getting back to that. And it's taking care of business in games like this. An ACC road game against an ACC opponent with a winning record. To me, for Miami, that's a quality victory. Is it a quality victory for Georgia? No, it's not. For us right now, it is, and it's one that we can build on. Look, I'll take an ugly 1-point victory all day, but I think this is a game that we can go in and again, hit them in the mouth, be physical, and just win outright, where it does not come down to the final possession or it doesn't come down to an overtime. Dominic Harris, thank you for bringing this up because it was in my notes. Trevante Citizen. So Coach Cristobal did hint at the fact that he's basically ready to go, health-wise. He's not ready to go like game speed, like rust-wise. He's a little. He said the word rusty. He's a little rusty. And running backs, you got to be careful because it's such an instinctive position. A lot like wide receiver, but even more so. Things are happening like in the blink of an eye when you get that football handed to you. So if you're thinking out there, even for a second, you're screwed. So Citizen, he's just got to get the instincts back. And he should be ready. Now, could this be Mario Slow playing everybody? And maybe he is ready and he's just kind of like, being a little coy about it. I hope so. I really hope so. But we'll see. What weaknesses can we can explore on NC State. You see on offense and defense. Yeah, so like I said earlier, their offensive line is not great, and I think there's some weaknesses there we can exploit. Ruben Bain could have a monster game, or they're going to double team him and not realize, oh wait, they got Leonard Taylor as well. Oh wait, they got Jared Harrison Hunt. Oh wait, they got Jaden Wayne, who's starting to make a little noise. And also, and that's without blitzing. That's just the D line. Sometimes they send Maui Noah on those blitzes up the middle. Sometimes a little safety blitz. I hope Guidry mixes it up in this game. Don't worry about showing. I know 4 games left in the season. Don't worry about showing too much at this point. Whatever you got to show, whatever you got to pull out, maybe a corner blitz here and there, do it, because we need this one. We need this win. So yeah, I think we can exploit that on the defensive side of the ball. On offense, I don't know if there's really any weaknesses we can exploit on offense, other than I think our offensive line is a tad superior to their defensive line. Not by a mile, but tad superior. Yes, Wesley, thank you. Don't forget Branson Dean. Yeah, Branson Dean's back in the lineup, and we are feeling the effect of that in a good way. I think our O-line, again, if you're a little more creative about it, you're not so vanilla, not so predictable, I think our offensive line can start going downhill on them and leaning on them and, wearing them out so that by the fourth quarter is ours. That's the goal. Let's see what else. Depends which quarterback shows up to play. Yeah, depends on that. But again, Dawson and the rest of the guys around him are going to need to help him. Everybody's going to need to pitch in. Where I also think we have an edge is special teams. Our return game this season, I think, has been very good. Ray Joseph has shown some nifty returns. He's made some guys miss, gotten the crowd excited. Brashard Smith already has a kick return for a touchdown. They've pretty much phased out X as a returner, which is good. X is a hell of a slot receiver. He's not a returner. They put him back there because he's sure-handed. They don't want to turn the ball over, but now they're starting to trust those younger guys more, which is good to see because they have the playmaking ability. In a close game like I kind of expect this one to be, if you can get a big play, a big return or a return for a touchdown, that could be the backbreaker. That could be the difference. So all the other phases of the game have to chip in. Because, again, Tyler, I don't think, he's banged up. I don't think he's in a position that he could just throw the team on his back and take us to victory. I hope so. I hope he has one of those games because he did it 2 years ago. We certainly know he's capable of it. Maybe they finally exploit something in that zone defense that everybody's playing on us. And, and our wide receivers just go to work. Hopefully he just starts getting the ball in the playmakers' hands because we have playmakers. I know that for a fact. I think we all know that. But it's going to take everybody. John, if TBD struggles again, do you pull him out early? I think with just a few games left in the season, you definitely consider it. 3 games ago, no, you don't. You let him kind of work through it. But now a few games later, he's continued to have these struggles. Again, I'm hoping. I am a huge TVD fan. I'm hoping he works his way through it and figures it out. The coaching staff helps him figure it out. The wide receivers help him, make some plays. But now it's just a few games to go. Do you pull him out early? Man, I would really consider it. I know you're in a weird spot because you got FSU next week, and you don't want to go into FSU with a freshman quarterback. You just don't. So I would if it's really bad. I mean, if he throws like a pick 6 or something early, or if like the first quarter he throws a couple of picks, or he just looks like visibly off, like he did early in the Georgia Tech game. Like he just looked off. Yeah, I might do it. I might do it honestly because it's hurting a team that I think overall. Look, the team is 6-2. They've beaten 2 of the bigger teams on their schedule heading into the season, A&M and Clemson. That if you told me, man, 6-2 and we have wins against those 2 teams, Thank you very much. I'll take that all day. They're 6-2, and really the team played well enough to be 7-1. The coaching staff is 6-2. The players are 7-1. That's the way I look at it. So you have a good. What I'm trying to say is you have a pretty good football. Not a great team, but you got a pretty good football team that's being held back by what's going on with our passing game. I'm not putting it all on Tyler. I'm just going to say the passing game. That goes for Coach Dawson. The playbook he had early in the season and late in the season is like it looks like two different things. Maybe it's because of the defenses he's facing. I don't know, but it's completely changed. But yeah, that one thing is holding back what I think is a pretty good to solid football team. I'm going to be honest. Our defense, rock solid. They've been good all year. I think they're a top 20 defense, top 25 defense right now, Miami. Special teams, I don't know where our special teams is ranked, but I would assume it's high up there. Good return game. Our kickoff and punt coverage is pretty good. I don't remember us allowing any big returns off the top of my head. Arguably the best kicker in the country. He's up there. Dylan Joyce is punting his ass off. He's doing really well. There's been basically no drop off since Lou Headley, which is great. We're pretty balanced and solid across the board. It's the passing game that's not opening things up for the rest of the offense. Hopefully we see that change. I wouldn't start TBD over Emery anytime. Emery Williams will win out, and it's only Mario and TBD that's hurting this team. Mario and TBD lost every game. Miami lost this year. It's hard to argue that last point that you just made. It really is. But let's keep in mind that Mario did build this roster. Let's not forget that. Let's not throw out the good with the bad. He got us to this point, talent acquisition wise. I don't agree that Emery Williams will win out. I'm sorry, I do not agree with that. I should have read that comment fully before I posted it. But yeah, Emery Williams will not win out if we put him as a starter right now. He wouldn't. Next year might be a different story, but he would not. No, I don't agree with that. But that last point you just made, it's hard to argue with that. I hope TVD gets it straight. We need that TVD against A&M. You mean NC State? Yeah. Let's see if I missed any comments here. If he's not performing and hurting the team, why not? Yeah, that's what conventional wisdom would tell you. It's why I would consider it. If he's playing that poorly and you just see it, I mean, you can tell. First quarter, if he just looks that bad, if he just looks off, yeah, I might do it. I might consider doing it. With all the injuries to the DM position, why haven't we seen Cyrus? That is an excellent question, and I don't have an answer. The best answer might be the one that's right in front of us. He hasn't quite earned it. Unfortunately, I love Cyrus Moss. It's pretty well known. He's had a little bit of trouble putting that weight on. Freak athlete. Not questioning his athleticism or his talent. He's just not big enough. Is anyone going to the Miami Florida State game next season? I'll be there. I have season tickets every year, so I'll be there. But yeah, we're 29 minutes in, so I think I'm going to stop it here. We got 40 in the chat. Please hit that like button. Cheers. I'm going to go finish my cafecito. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I appreciate you guys, your comments and jumping into the chat and giving me your thoughts. Thank you for, being respectful. I'm always appreciative of that. He meant Miami against UF in the swamp. Okay. Okay. You said Florida. I'm sorry. I read Florida State. FSU is here next year. Yeah. No. I'll obviously be at the FSU game here next year. But yeah, that opener on the road is going to be fun. That's going to be fun. And one that I think, I mean, obviously we can win, but it's going to be interesting because we'll be in year 3 of this rebuild where that's where you should start to see us really turn the corner as far as just depth. Depth is going to be huge. And which is one of the reasons I'm nervous about these last 4 games. We don't have great depth. But next year, you're going to have much better depth. You're going to have a few layers of talent more across the board rather than just like sporadically at different positions. We're going to dip into the portal for a few positions. Not a ton. I think safety, D tackle, because you're losing key guys there to the draft. Quarterback, obviously. Aside from that, I mean, running back next year, we're going to be loaded. Wide receiver, loaded. Tight end, loaded. Offensive line, loaded. You get Andy back for 1 more year. Hopefully, I hope Andy Borregales stays. He's ready for the NFL right now. Our punter, hopefully stays. I mean, I don't think he could even go to the draft yet. Special teams, just as a unit, will get that much better. If we figure out the quarterback position going into next year, I really like our 2024 squad. I really, really do. Florida, I think, will be in their 3rd year of their rebuild with Billy Napier. Keep in mind, and look, Florida's playing like surprisingly okay this year. Okay, obviously they just got their butts kicked by Georgia, but they're playing all right in a lot of other games. After that kind of embarrassing start to the season against Utah, I think they're 6-3, 5-3, 6-3. So Florida's not like terrible. But I think going into next season, we're going to have a better roster. And it's a game, again, we figure out the quarterback position. That's a game that we should win. But Billy Napier, just like Mario Cristobal, came from that Nick Saban, coaching tree, if you will. Mario didn't come from it originally, but you know what I mean. They both coached under Nick Saban. So I have no doubt Napier is going to improve that team. So it's going to be a challenge, and they're going to come to play. But yeah, I'm looking forward to not just that game. I'm looking forward to how we're going to look in 2024. But let's see. I'll be at Louisville and Georgia Tech games next year, only a few hours south of me. Oh, very nice. Go Canes. Thank you, Nashville Cane. Our 2024 schedule is tough. I don't think as tough as years past. I misread that. I'm sorry. Our 2024 schedule, I don't think is as tough as years past. Okay. There's a couple tough games in there, but it's not. Yeah, I think it's probably about the same as this year, but I think we're going to get a lot better. I think we take a big jump next year. All right, guys. I'm really going to head off this time because I know I think there's other YouTubers starting at 8, so I don't want to step on their toes and overlap with them. So please, again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and go Canes. Beat NC State. All about the U. Have a good night.